Welcome back to my virtual studio, aka plant nursery, where all the magic happens. Thank you all for tuning back in. I know it's been a minute, but your girl has been busy. I've been super busy propagating, learning new propagation methods, collecting new plants, and just focusing more on teaching Kokedama workshops. So if you have joined any of my virtual workshops, I'm actually teaching my next Kokedama workshop at the Botanical Gardens in November. So definitely stay tuned for all those details. But in the meantime, we are gonna focus and talk about propagation methods, TC cultures, new plants that are in stock, and all that jazz. So definitely just hang tight, and we're gonna go through each shelf and each box. So we are going to start with the Begonia Botanicas 45. Now the Begonia Botanicas 45 is actually one of my most favorite begonias because of her super high reflective foliage. Do you guys see that? I'm gonna also make sure you can also see videos in the corners. You can just see a bit more detail than my GoPro can provide. Now these babies, what I love about them is they grow in different shades of like blue, purple, teal. They're really magical. Now for propagation techniques, let me show you the best way to propagate a baby like this. Now what I love is they start to provide little roots right at the node. The node is where a new leaf would form, but as you can see, it also starts to provide roots. When they're in propagation boxes, they provide roots as well next to the node. So right where you see a root, you can chop right there, pop that baby right in soil, and grow a new one, or you can even cut from right here. And the plant will continue to grow and thrive. To be honest, that is exactly how I propagate these babies. Every time I see new growth, a place where I can cut, like right there with roots, I take advantage. And I just continue to grow and propagate new plants. She is such a beauty. I absolutely love this species. She's so bright. Just wanted to give a closer visual of the Botanicas 45 so you can see all her hues. She's so beautiful. Teals and purple. And you see where you can cut? Right there at the node where you see more roots rooting, a perfect place to propagate from. Right at the nodes. And when you keep your begonias in propagation boxes, they can pop out roots on the stems that makes them even easier to propagate. Not just from the node, but it's telling you like, hey, I have roots here. You can propagate me right here. So you can always just check the signs on your plants and see where you can propagate from. And this is a newer begonia that I actually have in stock as well. This is the Begonia Darth Vaderiana. I absolutely love this begonia for her very dark foliage and also light spots and green rim. She's really cute. And I actually will be growing more with the TC cultures that I have, and I'll show you those next. She's a slow grower, but what I love too is she's also rooting back here. So at any point, if I wanted to, I could propagate her, but I'm trying to chill out. I want her to get bigger before I do any cuts. And you have the most success when you propagate from a more mature leaf plant. She's still a baby. Especially something as sensitive as the Darth Vaderiana. She's a very rare plant. It's really hard to find her. Now for the TC cultures. So traditional propagation methods and plant TC cultures are basically both methods to grow new plants, but TCs produce hundreds of sterile new plants as clones in a more sterile environment, which is a lab, and they grow on a nutrient gel, which is this black stuff. The gel is actually coated with charcoal, a horticultural charcoal, very beneficial to baby plantlets like these. Just helps with like root rot issues, extra nutrients, stuff like that. So I'm going to plant these babies and I'm going to show you how we do that. Now, you want to make sure that you have a nice clean setup for your TCs. You want to have some gloves. You want to make sure you have cups of clean water, 2 actually. 1 for your iodine, which is a antifungal and anti-algae solution that helps to disinfect these babies before you plant them. And you want to make sure you have your substrate. I used perlite, organic perlite. So basically, I just washed off all that algae and charcoal that they came in. I washed it first in clean water and then in the iodine solution. And then after soaking it in the iodine solution for like 10 to 15 minutes, then I popped them out, straightened out their roots, made sure I didn't see anything I needed to cut off, any root rots or dead leaves, and then I popped them right in the perlite. And also, it's recommended to water the perlite with the antifungal solution as well to make sure that there's no harm done during the transition. So that was done as well. And then they're just going to be in a low light area, 100% humidity. And these are the Darth Vaderiana begonias, TCs. I'm super, super excited to have these babies here. So in my next video, I'll update to let you guys know how these TCs are doing. Right now, it is July. So it says about 4 weeks in the research that I've done. About 2 to 4 weeks, these should be nice and rooted and starting to develop new leaves. I already see this new leaf coming in. That's how I knew that these TCs were also very healthy when they came in. New growth was on them. I didn't see any root rot. Also, another key when you're planting your TCs is don't bury them too deep. Give it some breathable room. Luckily, it's in perlite. Perlite is a very breathable substrate. And yeah, and that is our TCs, so stay tuned. Now in this box, I have a variety of begonias, Hoyas, and one very, very, very rare terrarium plant called the Batman Piper, and we are going to get into her very soon, her own segment. But for now, I'm going to start with the fairy tale begonias. These babies are so freaking rare, and I sold like maybe 3 already. I only have 2 left, and I'm trying to grow them out bigger so I can propagate from them. Oh, it's so hard not to try to propagate these little pieces. I'm just like, oh, just wait. I freaking love the fairy tale. Let me grab her a little closer for you guys. Now, the begonia fairy tale actually doesn't have nodes to propagate from. The way I actually propagate from her is from her base. She's more of a basal growth type. So from her base is where I would see new roots, and that's where I'd cut from to grow more. And that's how I grew this second baby and the other babies that I had available, all from one plant. So from one plant, you can create 4 or 5. even more just from continuously cutting every time you see new roots from the base of this specific one, because she doesn't have nodes on her stem. She doesn't break away into different sections and branches. She just grows like straight from the bottom basil. So different growth habit than the Botanicus 45. Absolutely love her. And as she gets bigger, her hairs are really, really pink and her edges become more purple. I really, really love this begonia, and she's a little hairy too. So those are the two traits in the begonias that I really love. It's either high reflective or hairy. I love a hairy plant. It's like a plant you can pet. Little pet plant. Very, very delicate. Okay, so next we are going to these babies. And this is the Begonia Umbrella times Dindu hybrid. A cross between the two parent plants. I really, really just like this begonia because of her foliage, how it turns into different hues of like bluishes, purples, reds. And this one actually is on its way to a new home. She just sold. And she actually started to root a new little baby. Really, really cute foliage. I love her spots. And she's also a terrarium begonia. A lot of the begonias that I have are to be grown in enclosures, terrariums, especially when they're like this, when they only have a single leaf and they're rooted. Please continue to keep them in a propagation box that allows them to have rapid leaf development, root development. It just keeps them nice and cozy, and you don't have to worry about them drying out. The moisture of the humidity box keeps them nice and warm. Just make sure you keep a nice indirect bright light over them and they'll do just fine. So I'm just waiting for these babies to start rooting. I haven't seen any signs of rooting yet, so stay tuned. I'll pop them in the shop soon. Now for the Hoyas that I have left in stock. I only have two kinds. I have the Hoya Gunnagatings here, and I have the Hoya Crocodiles. Now, if you saw my last video, there was a prop box here with a bunch of Hoyas. I actually donated that box to my mother's apothecary in Brooklyn. So if you're ever in Brooklyn in Bed-Stuy on Tompkins Ave, make sure you visit my mom's apothecary. But yeah, I do have these two Hoyas left, so make sure you guys check out my Palmstreet Shop. I always have them up for auctions. They are rooting like crazy too. These were two of my faves. If I can choose my Hoyas, I'd choose these two. They have really, really cool foliage. And it's really hard, the crocodile. And she's a slow grower. But these babies are all rooted. So just reach out to me as well. But I do have one listed in my auctions. No reserve. So not much of a bidding war when you're on my Palmstreet Shop. So next, let's get into the Piper Batman. Oh my goodness, let me pull her out. I am absolutely in love with the shape of her foliage. It literally looks like the Batman signal. Do you guys see that? And what's really cool is her hues. It's like burgundy, dark, burnt red, orange. Very, very beautiful plant. And when she gets a little bigger, I'll be able to share a little piece because she has a node here. She has a node here. Now, remember the nodes I told you guys about? Nodes is where you can cut and grow a new plant. There. But it's very tricky. It's very risky. If you don't provide the proper environment for the plant to thrive, especially when it just got a cut, you can lose it. You can lose that propagation. So that's the struggle with, propagation. Sometimes You know, there's a lot of deaths that happen, but you got to just keep propagating, keep trying. I've had so many failures, but the only way to learn is to keep trying. Like with the begonia lemon. Let me show you the begonia lemon and we'll talk about it. Now, this is the begonia lemon propagations that I have. Now, this is a very finicky propagator, because she's one begonia that you do not want to propagate in a humidity box that has moisture. As you can see, this humidity box is dry, bone dry, and that's the way I propagated her. What I did was I took 2 cuttings. Now, since she grows branch style, she gives you nodes, I cut her at the node and I grew them in water. I rooted them out in water, and after they rooted in water, then I planted them in soil and just kept the soil moist. And that took about, I say, a month and a half in total, the begonia lemons. The first time I tried to prop these babies was a complete failure. It was so bad. Everything melted. It's because I sprayed the leaves. But once again, you have to fail to learn, you know, trial and error. And I just kept trying. And now I have 2 successful babies growing. Have new little sprouts coming in on both of them. They're both rooted. I do have one available in my shop for auction, but the other one I'm going to continue to grow out. So stay tuned. You'll see more lemons in my shop always. Super beautiful pink reflective. And she's really rare too. She's a pretty rare begonia. Now, this is the begonia crazy pink. Now, I actually got her pretty recently, and she actually broke in transit. But guys, let me tell you what to do when that happens. Prop and chop. Chop and prop. Once it comes in, just bury what's rooted, chop any dead leaves off of the one that snapped, and as long as there's a node, I'm not even mad. I have 2 plants growing right now. You just gotta act fast. So this is the crazy pink begonia, and I can't wait till she gets bigger. She's so freaking cute. She has all these really cute pink spots all over her. So stay tuned. I'll update you guys on her growth. And this is the begonia at Richa. Super beautiful foliage. Now, I actually have 2 growing as well that I propagated recently. And as you can see, I like to try different substrates. I'm actually working on my own begonia potting mix. So definitely stay tuned for that as well. I don't have a date for exactly when it'll be available, but I'm just working on the components. And I will keep you guys posted on that. I'm super excited about it. I freaking love begonias. They're my absolute favorite species of plants. And it starts with the roots, you know? So it's really important to have very beneficial and delicious substrate for them to grow and thrive in. So stay tuned for that, y'all. I'm so excited. Now, this is the begonia pink urchin that I have growing. I'm gonna pull her out the box so I can show you guys her a little bit closer. But I do have a few more growing. They're struggle plants. I did have a whole bunch, as you can see in my side video, that grew out humongous. I propagated from them. I sold a whole bunch. But these babies are still growing out from their small little stem propagations. But what I did was I learned how to propagate from a single leaf. And I'm gonna pull her out so you guys can see her a little closer. This is the begonia pink urchin. Now, I did pin a video on the side so you can see how I did cut the back of this leaf. And then what I did was I flipped it over. I put her in some soil, put a dome lid on her, and put her in indirect light. And in like maybe 4 weeks, she rooted into this. And this is the single leaf propagation method. And this can be done with a lot of begonia types. I do have another plant that I'm growing from a single leaf, another begonia, a rare one just like this. And I'll show you her growth rate so far. She's actually growing a little slower, the other one. But this one, it looks like I'll be able to propagate from her very, very soon. I'll give it maybe another month or two. And that's the key about growing, propagating, gardening. Patience. Patience, patience, patience. Even when you think something isn't gonna propagate, just give it a little more time, because it'll surprise the hell out of you. Okay, this is the begonia Bayek, and she is another beautiful hairy begonia. That's another reason why I really, really love this plant. She actually has a growth style that stems out like branches. As you can see, I made a few cuts here and was able to propagate from stems, from leaves. And I'm gonna pull her out so I can show you how she is actually growing. She's doing really well with this leaf propagation that I did. And this only took a few weeks. So let me show you guys. Now this is the begonia Bayek rooted leaf cutting that I have. As you can see, she started to develop, and she already rooted, and she developed little plantlets on her leaf. Now, a few things that you have to make sure that you do. One, make sure that you pick a mature leaf, a mature, healthy leaf, not a very small or very young one. The bigger, the better. And when you flip your little leaf around, the cuts that you make on the back, you want to make sure that you are cutting along the main vein. The main vein is where you make a few small cuts. And when you make those small cuts, those cuts is where new plants and new little plantlet colonies will start to grow and form. So don't make too many cuts, but at least maybe 3 on each main vein. And then she'll start to root for you in about 4 weeks. So you flip her back over right after those cuts. You make sure that your substrate is moist, whether you're using sphagnum moss, I'm using soil. And then you mist, add a humidity dome, and you're good to go. And these are the single leaf propagations for more begonia Bayeks that I have. And these are actually in sphagnum moss. So I was just testing this in different substrates to see how they root. Since I did have success in soil, I just want to see how these babies do. It's been a few weeks. I haven't seen any rooting development yet. And also I did something different. I didn't use a whole leaf. What I did was I did take a big mature leaf, but I cut it in quarters. And I made sure each quarter had a section of the main vein. So I will report back and let you guys know how successful this method was. Just wanted to give it a try since I learned this as well. But only time can tell. Just gotta give it some time. Alright, now I got some more begonias. These are the begonia snowcaps. And if you saw my last video, I did start with like 1. Now I have like 6. I really, really love the pink and lime green and dark green variegations that the begonia snowcap variegated provides. And she's really, really easy to propagate. She grows in all kind of different branches. You can find a node to cut from. And I say, depends on what you want. You can root her in water, or you can root her directly in a substrate like soil, perlite, sphagnum moss, and then just put her in a propagation box. She is totally fine with misting. She loves a good mist. It's only the Lamoon. Only the Lamoon. We do not miss the Lamoon. Don't forget, guys. But yeah, the snowcap is another one of my faves, another classic. And the begonia Draco times Sarawaks, of course, are still available in my shop. These are one of my first faves. still so super beautiful. Now, I've propagated from one single plant. I made a whole bunch, sold a whole bunch, and I'm just growing them out a little bit bigger before I add them into the shop. But you could always reach out and ask if I have any available you could choose from. The Begonia Sarawak times Draco Bolita hybrid. And also growth habit, branch style. As you can see, she grows a whole bunch of different nodes you can chop and propagate from, and at the nodes you'll see roots. So she's a really fast and easy grower. I do still have the Begonia Juhois available. I'm gonna put this one back up for auction. I did sell a few, but I'm growing some more, so stay tuned. The Juhoi is another one of my favorites because of how fast she grows in roots. Look at all those roots just on one single leaf. Even here, she roots insanely, and she grows branch style, so as you can see, she has a bunch of nodes you can definitely propagate from. She's very easy to propagate as well, and she's a fast grower. So I'll add her back in the shop soon. Stay tuned. Still available, the Juhois. And just like the Draco times Sarawak, I have now the pure breed Sarawaks. Oh man, I was so hyped when I got these in. Got it in as one plant, and I propped her into about 6. And they are thriving. So I do have one up for auction, and when the rest get bigger, I'll continue to propagate from, because they also grow branch style, so you'll be able to prop and chop from any node you see. As you can see there, she's rooting out right there at the node as well. Very fast grower as well. I think it's been maybe 2 months since I propagated this baby, and she is going crazy. And she also has a very reflective foliage as well, the more mature she gets. As you can see, a little bit of the reflective. And that is the Begonia Sarawak pure breed. And now for the rare philodendrons. Now this is the philodendron pink mint Micans. Now, as you can see in the corner video, she comes as a vine. She is a vining plant. She grows nodes at every section. As you can see here, that node is already rooting, doing her big thing. And she's already stemming out a new leaf very soon. And these rooted very fast. I cut each one at the node, and it's single leaf propagations. All you need is a stem and a node. And then give her a few weeks and she'll propagate. These babies are rooted. Look at that new baby coming in. Still waiting for her to give. And these two, it's so funny, for the most highly variegated leaves, I noticed they took the longest to root and stem. All of these that have a bit more lower pink pigmentation were easily rooted. So I thought that was a very interesting note to take point of. So once these babies get bigger, I'll add them in the shop. This one is actually going to a new home. She just sold during one of my auctions. So remember to always check out my Palmstreet. You can always catch my rare plants and cuttings and starter plants. Now here we have the queen philodendron orange Milano, super highly variegated. This baby is so freaking rare, and I absolutely love how bright orange her hues are. Do you guys see that? Super gorgeous. And with bright indirect light, she'll continue to push out new leaves. I do have this baby available in my shop for auction, and she grows different nodes that you can also propagate from. As you can see, she's branching here, and as she matures, I'll be able to prop more and share. So definitely keep your eye on my shop if you are looking for a Philodendron Orange Milano. They're super, super hard to find, but I was able to find some. I got 4 growing, and as they grow, I'll continue to propagate. But I want to pull one out so I could just show you a little bit closer. Just another close-up of the Orange Milano. Super, super gorgeous plant. And what I also love about her is her velvety texture. You could literally see it. So velvety. I absolutely love this philodendron. And she's actually growing in fast. That's a new leaf that's twirling in. And she's already rooted. Just waiting for them to develop new leaves. And this is the Philodendron Bilitate variegated propagations that I have growing. I do have a few single leaves growing, and then I have some starters growing as well. Now, her growth type is very, very tricky to propagate from. Now, her growth type is basal, and she roots at the very, very base of the plant. So you'll only be able to see nodes as she stacks and grows. So she's a very, very slow grower. And as she grows, I'll be able to propagate her more and add her into the shop. But very, very slow grower and a basal growth type, as you can see here as well. Basal means they are more situated at the base and not like branch stem type where you can like find nodes to cut from. So it's a bit more tricky, but doable, just challenging. But I was able to propagate a few pieces. It takes a second for them to like rehabilitate, reroot, you know, it's a lot with regrowing, especially this type. So stay tuned, she'll be in the shop soon. The variegated Philodendron Bilitate. Very, very rare. Super hard to find. I mean, not super hard, but pretty rare. The Milano is harder to find than these babies. And now for some terrarium plants. This is the Labacia SP Turtleback. Oh my goodness. She is one of my favorites. Once again, I could never choose one, because they're all so special in their own right, you know, with super different characteristics. This one literally feels like a turtle's back, if you can feel that through the screen. And she's actually a pretty fast grower. Like every time I look in here and check, I always see new babies growing. Now her growth type is basal. She won't have like stems to propagate from. You'd have to do plant division, which is separating from the root ball. Not easy, but doable. And that's how you propagate this baby. Or you can also do stem cutting, leaf cuttings. I do have one successful leaf that started to root, but it took so long. The other ones really failed. I'm still working on that one, but pretty challenging to propagate from a leaf. I recommend just letting her grow out big and just doing plant division from the base. Super, super cool textured plant. So you can always find the turtlebacks in my shop, because I'm always growing more. And these are the turtleback cuttings. Now I only had success with this baby here. As you can see, she's rooted, but she's a very slow grower. So I do have a few more cuts trying here in sphagnum moss, so I'll keep you guys posted on how they're growing. But so far I do have one successful one rooted. So that was a leaf cutting that I took one whole leaf and I cut her into a few sections. And just make sure you keep the box moist, give it 100% humidity, indirect light, and prayers, hope for the best. Now this is another Piper species, just like the Batman Piper, but her name is Piper Tamika. And she has a very, very cool hairy foliage and like burgundy stem. She actually roots and grows pretty fast. I propagated these and they started to show signs of new growth in maybe 2 weeks. So I was super, super impressed with their growth habit. And they grow from a single stem, but they also, if you propagate them and chop them, they'll actually start to branch out. So that's what I did, just to make them a bit more bushier in their growth. So I do have one available in my shop, which is the biggest one, this baby here. And I'll add some more when they get bigger. So this is the Piper SP Tamika, another super rare terrarium plant. Another terrarium plant, of course, you can always find in my shop is the Ficus villosa. The most beautiful hairy plant. I absolutely love her because look at that. Super easy to propagate. You see right there those roots sticking out from the nodes? And right there, she always tells you like, hey, you can prop and chop me right there. A super easy grower. She grows super fast. She's pretty rare because she's a terrarium plant and you cannot grow these babies in normal household temperatures. They can't be acclimated into normal household temperatures because of their need for moisture. So this baby will do amazing in any beautiful terrarium that you build for her. And that is the Ficus villosa. Now I actually have a new ficus species and I'm super excited about it. Hold on, let me show you guys. Now this is the Ficus Papua Bulletate. And I love, love, love this super cute little cutting. Now the difference between the villosa ficus and this baby is the bulletate textured, which is like that bumpy texture on the plant. And I love, love, love that feature. Not only is she hairy, she's also super, super textured. So as she gets bigger, I'll propagate from her and definitely share her. So stay tuned. And these are my jewel orchids that are still here. They are chilling in a really, really low light area, nice and cozy, just growing out. I do have one available in my auctions and some available in my listings as well, my Palmstreet Shop. So if you like orchids as much as I do, I got a ton of jewel orchids growing back here. Oh, I do. These are like my personal babes because I did sell the Marcodes and the lightning jewel orchids from Propagation, so I'm gonna let these two grow out before I prop from them again. But all of these babies will always be up for auction and available in my shop. And remember, you can still find all of my plant-based products, all of my plant-based oils right on my Palmstreet Shop. Still have these babies available. Smells so divine. That's that tranquility. If you know, you know. And shipping for plants, still 2-day UPS. Heat pack, ice pack, installation is all included in the shipping fee, so no worries on that. If you're ordering products, I usually do UPS ground, which is like 3-4 day, but if you want to expedite it, let me know. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was such a dope episode. I'm so excited to watch these babies grow and just update you guys in the next episode. But make sure you check out episode 8. I have a special episode for you guys, so stay tuned for the next one right after this. Bye.